Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies had a massive season in 2020, and they look to continue that success into 2021. But I'm here to tell you today why this year is so important for the Texas A&M Aggies and the future of the program Jimbo looks to create. But before we get into it, as always, I want to hear from y'all. So go ahead and hop down into the comments and give me a Y for yes or an N for no, and let me know why. Do you believe that Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies will be able to replicate some of the success they had in 2020? Whether or not that's only losing one game, that doesn't mean that they wouldn't have a successful season. Let me know what y'all are thinking. Guys, if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I do constant college football content, whether that's film reviews, player analysis, or general talk videos like this, and I'm on my journey to 2,000 subscribers, and I'd love to have you along. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and comment down below, because likes and comments go a long ways in helping channels like mine get picked up by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, we have a lot to unpack here. 2020 was an incredible year for Jimbo Fisher and the Texas A&M Aggies, only losing one game to the best team in college football. And they did put up a good fight against Alabama. They had a good game plan. It's just Alabama was Alabama, and Alabama destroyed everybody in its path this season. That was an inevitability this particular year. And while the Aggies lose a lot of talent, I hear a lot of the conversation revolving around Kellen Mond. And Kellen Mond was a very good college quarterback. He finds himself on some of the top boards for A&M all time in multiple categories, right? So he was an incredible college football quarterback who is going to be remembered for the Aggies. But that's not the biggest loss for Texas A&M, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. In a year where A&M looks to replicate success, it is going to be much harder to replicate that success when not only do you have to replace Kellen Mond with a new quarterback who looks to be possibly Haynes King. Four-star quarterback, dual-threat guy, incredibly athletic, and already has prototypical size at 6'3", 200 pounds. He could add some weight. That's going to be an easy thing in college. But he has the size, he's got a live arm, and he's got a wiry athletic nature to him that is going to be tough for Jimbo Fisher to keep off the field. He's a very talented kid. It's one thing when you have to replace Kellen Mond with a, let's say for the sake of the conversation, a Haynes King. It's another thing entirely when you have to replace a Kellen Mond with a Haynes King and also replace three guys off of what could be the most disciplined offensive line in college football. When you combine both of those, it becomes very hard to find consistent success. You know, I'm going to compare it to the situation at Alabama right now. And the situation at Alabama is a bit different because not only is Alabama losing Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Alex Leatherwood, but they have depth on that offensive line that has some experience, and not only that, they just nabbed what could be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, I believe it's the greatest, offensive line recruiting class of all time. So when you combine both of those factors, you're looking at a situation in Tuscaloosa that even though they look to replace a quarterback, they have more continuity along the offensive line than does an A&M. And that's going to be big because this past season was very big for A&M, and that's the kind of season they're looking to have every year. It's just hard when you finally break into the type of production you're wanting to mimic when the bulk of your team and the bulk of the reason for your success is seniors, and then they go on to the NFL draft. Now, A&M has a great recruiting class coming in. Make no mistake about it. 17 guys rated in the top 300 per 24/7 Sports. A top 10 class, ranked 4th in the SEC, and that just goes to show you how bonkers SEC recruiting is, that you could be a top 10 class and be 4th in the SEC. That's wild. Teams like Alabama, LSU, Georgia, all ranked ahead of them, and then A&M came in at 4th. But that's nothing to be ashamed about. That is an incredible class, something that A&M looks to be very excited about, and they got some ballers in this class. So I think that A&M looks to be able to continue some success. I think it's going to be very hard. And this is going to be a massive year because this is the year where Jimbo can tell recruits, look at the continuity I was able to create even after I lost a lion's share of why I was successful. This is the year where Jimbo can start talking to recruits the same way that your LSUs, your Georgias, your Alabamas, your Ohio States, Clemsons, and OUs can start talking to some of the players, where we can lose this guy who's a Heisman winner and still be right back in the conversation next year because that's what we do. Jimbo really hasn't experienced that to this degree at A&M, and now it's his time to experience it, and it's going to be incredible. Incredible to see what he does here, because look, if A&M still had an offensive line, and let's say they bring in Haynes King, this could be a precarious situation. They have talent on the outside, a ton of talent at the skill player position. But when you're going to be playing in Alabama that not only returns, because he's a true freshman, the kid that has the most quarterback hurries in the nation, but also the most sacks in the SEC, when you're going to be playing in Alabama that returns that kid, who's just now going to get his full offseason because he was a true freshman last year, plus Alabama returns Chris Allen to go alongside him, you're going to need continuity at the offensive end, and especially on the offensive line. And that's just where A&M doesn't have it. I think A&M could have a promising 2021, but I don't think we're going to see A&M be anywhere near what they were this past year, and I actually think the value of A&M is being overrated a little bit. I see A&M being ranked as a team that could push Bama for the SEC West, and I just don't see that. I think that they're an incredibly well-coached team. I think they have some very good talent, but I think that the losses extend far past Kellen Mond, and even though Kellen Mond is a massive loss, that's not your biggest issue. Your biggest issue is how are you going to protect a brand new quarterback when some of these other SEC teams are bringing back straight dogs to come after a quarterback. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you expect out of A&M this year? Because this is going to be one of the most intriguing teams, not only in the nation, but easily in the SEC. It's Jimbo's first bout of true adversity at Texas A&M, and I have to be honest, what a way to deal with your first bout of adversity by nabbing a top 10 recruiting class. So Jimbo is cooking something at A&M. A lot of talented players in this class, a lot of guys to be excited about. A&M fans, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think of y'all's season coming up, and who are you excited about in this recruiting class? That's it. See ya.